This week marks 1 year since we moved in to Sunhill Farm.
We're home!
Within 2 months, we went from sailing full-time in the Caribbean on our 44-foot sailboat to finding a home on land in less than a month and a new little boat to cruise our home waters with. We moved in, Vera started daycare, and we settled into living on land for the first time in 7 years. We found a naval architect who could take on the job of making our design ideas into 3D drawings and to do the calculations on the hull. And in the meantime, we made the barn ready for this huge building project. We painted the floors, windproofed one side of the barn, replaced the lights, installed a big window, made a new opening in the wall, and sourced second-hand machines. Summer turned into fall, and we did a lot of garden work on the farm. In November, both the boat design and barn were ready, and the build of Ron 3 started. First up was to cut out the temporary hull frames on which the hull would be built around. We gave Arctica some much needed TLC. Woo! 22 hull frames were going to be built, and it took many weeks. From one day to another, it went from fall to winter with so much snow. But it didn't last longer than 2 days. We got to try and walk through round 3 and see the whole design and interior with the help from virtual reality. And this was so helpful for the design process. Christmas came and went, and in the beginning of January we were finally finished with all the 22 hull frames.
Bye-bye! Bye!
By this time it was midwinter, and it was really cold in the barn, which isn't insulated. I think the coldest we had was below 15 degrees Celsius. Next up was to build the strongback, which was going to be the foundation for the hull frames. After searching for a long time for the timber we were going to build the hull of, we finally found exactly what we wanted. Close to 4 cubic meters of western red cedar, originally from British Columbia in Canada. It had been lying in a barn since the 90s, and we got lots of other types of timber as well, like teak and mahogany, that we will use for the interior. In the end of January, we visited the world's largest indoor boat show in Germany and got a lot of inspiration for our boat.
Would be okay for just going slow.
With the strong back in place, it was time to place out the temporary hull frames in their exact position according to the 3D drawings. From having nothing inside the barn that looked like a boat, it didn't take long until the skeleton of our future hull had appeared. It was a big milestone and very visually pleasing to see. There were many details that needed to be adjusted before the frames were at the correct distance and completely stable. Small signs of spring started to show on the farm, and we got a bit more daylight every day. In March, we took the train up north to the Swedish mountains and went skiing. And Vera tried skiing for the first time, and she did so well. Next in the building process was to create the stem, which is a part of the bow. We used oak for this huge piece that measured over 2 meters and weighed close to 60 kilos. The stem was going to be the first permanent piece on run 3.
Just to give you a better understanding of these templates, it's more or less like this. So the templates represent the form of the stem at this position.
We got some help from a friend to lift the heavy stem in place. And this was another milestone in the boat build so far. Before we could start planking the hull, we had to rip and plane the western red cedar, which was a quite physical, tiring job. We were enjoying brighter mornings and some sunshine. By the end of April, we mounted the first of many cedar strips on what was going to be our hull. The months after contained mostly of planking the hull. Spring arrived so late this year, and while plants on the farm slowly started to wake up, we continued making strips and planking the hull. come a long way, I have to say.
And that means that now with this temperature it hardens in 1 to 2 hours.
We've reached a third with planking the hull. Finally, we got some warm weather and everything turned green. In the beginning of June, we made a pad outside the barn to be able to roll out the boat. Then we made a new opening in the barn.
What a different perspective, seeing the boat from the front like this. This will make a huge difference in accessibility to the hull, and hopefully it will speed things up a little bit.
We also built a small extension on the barn to get some more room inside.
So we have finally reached the waterline level in the midsection here on this side.
We got a few days of sailing with Arcticus, in between strong winds and rain. Welcome to our open house! It was so much fun to meet so many of you on our open house. There's not much left until the hull is fully planked, and we're pushing on. Most recently, we built the bow and got it in place, which made the hull look even more like a boat. It's been 1 year of living land life, with routines like daycare for Vera and meeting family and friends on the weekends. 9 of these months we've spent building Run 3, and we are very happy with the progress we've made so far. The most critical and difficult job is getting closer, which is to laminate the hull with fiberglass. We're pretty nervous about it. We miss the cruising lifestyle a lot, but this is good too, for a while at least. We found a place with beautiful nature around, and we love the farm. Thank you for watching, and to all the new viewers who have found us during this year. Thanks for following our adventures, and for making it possible to share it here with you. If you would like to support our production, please visit our Patreon page and see how you can support.